This is Recovery Lifestyles with Carmel. Recovery Lifestyles is committed to raising awareness and ending stigmas surrounding addiction and mental health. These are stories from women around the world who have overcome and are now living inspiring and on-purpose lives. On today's show, we're going to be discussing the importance of your breath and your voice. Our guest is all the way from London, England, and she states that reconnecting your breath to your life force is a means of healing. If you have been abusing your body in any way, the first thing you disconnect with is your breath.
So I'm here today with Judith Quinn, and Judith is a classically trained actress, a voice vibration sound healer, author of Stop Shoulding, Start Wanting, and member of the Association of Transformational Leaders of Europe. So Judith, welcome. Thank you for being here today. And would you like to share with the audience a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, hearing that introduction, I'm like, wow, that's me. And I am, I trained, all I ever wanted to do was be an actress. So I went to drama school, and for 18 years, I slogged away at acting, but it didn't really give me much back. And as I was doing that, I supported myself in other ways. And one of those was as a massage therapist, because I've always been a natural healer. And I've always worked energetically since I was a kid. And through that, we came across Earthlight Reiki, which uses sound, and sound healing as a modality, which now that I recognize it, my first ever sound healing experience actually happened in a voice class at drama school. I worked with some clients, some massage clients, and one of them happened to be a coach and trainer. And she went, oh, I didn't know you trained as a coach. I had no idea what coaching was. So I went and trained as a coach. And now I combine all those skills together to really help people recognize where their restrictions are in their voice and to reconnect to who they really are and reconnect their voice on a mental, physical, and emotional level, so that self-expression as well as public speaking becomes so much easier. You have a clarity of thought and therefore a clarity of words.
And so how can somebody listening that is inside recovery, how can sound vibration help them with their healing?
Okay, so the core of any kind of work that I do is breath. And so whether that's helping someone with public speaking fears, or whether it's doing the sound healing work or the sonic meditations, and coming back to your breath is, well, it's the center of all meditation practice, but it's the center of life. And most people, actually, whether you're in recovery or not, most people out there don't breathe fully and don't breathe in a way that is conscious. And so by reconnecting to your breath to start with, you're reconnecting to your life force. And you're reconnecting yourself when you do it fully. It's reconnecting to your body. So often, obviously, if you have been abusing your body, it's very easy to disconnect from it. And the easiest thing to disconnect is your breath, because actually we can get away with breathing really shallowly to survive. But to really reconnect to life, connect to breath, and then we bring in the sound and the vibration. And it's about physically changing the vibration of yourself. So it can be really powerful work. I did a mini demonstration on someone the other day. It was about 15 seconds and she was in floods of tears because the vibration recognizes the energetic or emotional memory of whatever that frequency resonates with for you. So it's about recognition of where you've got holdings, but also can be a massive release.
Right. And I feel that a lot of people, they don't understand how important our breath is. And when I'm going back to how you were speaking about the shallow breath, and and even for myself, I have to stop and pause and remind myself, because it's very easy just to breathe almost from up here, right?
Yeah.
And so what are the benefits when you are able to push your breath down, we'll say? Maybe somebody,
yeah. So let's not say push it down, because then we'll get people doing physiological things that might be challenging. But when you can reconnect with your breath and include it, let's say when you can open up to your breath, the benefits are that you have more breath, so there is more space to breathe, therefore you have more time, and so you will be slowing your heart rate. So for example, if anxiety is something that challenges you, by breathing deeply and slowly, you reduce your heart rate, which reduces the amount of adrenaline being pumped around your body. And when you breathe fully, it's a physical opening, but that then connects to a mental and emotional opening. The easiest way, I suppose, is to demonstrate it. If I maybe just drop my camera a little.
Sure.
Let me just, got a little tricky setup here. So, stay. Come on, camera, play with ball. There we go. Okay, so it's going to be a wonky angle, but if you can see, sort of like where my hand is.
Right.
When we breathe out, what we're doing, if you imagine that your lungs are like a balloon, and when you let the air out of the balloon, it shrinks. So when you breathe out, what you want to do is everything to come in. So as we breathe out, the hands come in, and as we breathe in, we make space. Because if you breathe air into a balloon, it expands. So your lungs are just a big balloon, really.
Yeah, and what an incredible visualization for many people who are running around in that adrenalized state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's if you can get the image of the balloon in your mind, because lots of people find it challenging. They think it's counterintuitive to breathe in that way, because what happens as we are kids, we learn, someone says breathe in, and what they mean is, make room. So you breathe in and you breathe everything in, and your chest puffs out and your tummy goes in. So it's like, breathe in, make space. But actually, that's the action for breathing out.
Right.
Technically.
Right.
So if you're conscious breathing, don't worry about it in day to day. But for conscious breathing, it's about expansion. It's allowing yourself to receive.
That's very powerful. So I feel that a lot of us have been trained, as you said, to just be all tight, anxiety, and then we feel like we're always running out of time. And so I know a lot of people within my community are looking for ways to ease, right? And unfortunately, those ways didn't always work. And what a beautiful, simple, just our breath, understanding how our breath works and how creating that space. So I want to go back to you a little bit about the sound vibration, because I thought it was so powerful when you shared how the vibration releases the emotion. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, sure. So the simplest analogy I use is, if you have ever seen or heard about the way an opera singer can shatter a crystal glass with their voice. So what happens there is you have the crystal, and because it's pure crystal, it has one resonant frequency, and it likes to be in that form. But if this opera singer matches the frequency of that crystal with their voice, what happens is the crystal will start to shake, because matter affects matter. So sound is matter, so it can affect matter. And then if the opera singer maintains that note, that frequency, the vibration of the crystal means that the cells are changing, and then they are expanding because they're trying to include more of what they recognize as that frequency, and then it shatters. So it's very similar. Our cells, we are made of cells, and water and bone are two of the best conductors of sound. If you think how far whales can send their sound in the oceans, and what are our bodies if nothing but bone and water? So your voice vibration or sounds that you receive will affect your cells on a physical level. So that's the physical element of it. And as they start to vibrate, it releases whatever they're holding on to, which includes the energetic frequency of the emotions of that sound or that tone or that note. And most of the time this is subconscious. So you know how sometimes you'll hear a song, and it may not even be a song that you particularly like or that you have a particular memory of, but it'll just trigger something, and you'll get really teary or maybe angry and frustrated. I used to, house music in the 90s. My friends were into it. And if they played it, I used to get really angry, like unnecessarily angry, even if I was being sober driver for the night. And they're like, oh, we'll go to this club, it's great. And I'd go, and within half an hour, I would be like, I'm leaving. If anyone wants to come with me and get a lift home, fine. Otherwise, you get in the bus. that music, and this is before I knew about any of this stuff, but that music clearly was churning something up inside me that I was holding on to. And it came out as anger. So voice is vibration, and sound effects matter. Your body is matter. Sound is matter. So when you hear and when you use voice vibration as a meditation tool or as a healing tool or as a way of reconnecting to yourself, it may well bring up some big emotions. But what I love about that is that you can then recognize where they are and you can play with that sound to release them.
Okay. So when working with the breath and to release the emotion, it's not necessarily more breath, or
to release the emotion it is.
Okay.
So and to work with the sound, it's about, like I said, it's about acceptance and receiving and opening. And that's a physical opening. So you're making more space. So your muscles are having to stretch. And we all have muscle memory. Like, if you learn to ride a bike when you're a kid and you haven't ridden a bike for 10 years, someone can give you a bike and you can pretty much get on it and cycle it again.
Right.
So your muscles might not like it to start with because they're like, wait a minute, we're not used to breathing like this. And then it's stretching. And as it's stretching, again, it's changing the cellular makeup. So, but it's all about making space for breath. So even just the breathing exercises, some people get really emotional with because they realize they don't allow themselves to breathe. I worked with one lady who came to a sound circle meditation with me, and it was my 2-day workshop, and we did some breathing, and she just started crying because she realized that one of her beliefs is, I don't want to be here, and she realized that by not breathing fully, she's allowing herself to not be fully present on this planet. So thereby supporting her I don't belong belief.
Oh, wow. That's very powerful.
Yeah.
So for somebody that may be listening and this is the first time they're hearing anything about breath and sound vibration, where would they start?
Simple breathing techniques. So I'd say go to any meditation that calls you. They all start with breath, but I can give you a couple of really simple exercises now. So you can just place, like I did earlier, place your hand on your belly and a hand around your ribs and breathe out. Well, I always say breathe out first, because if we haven't let go or let be what was, then we can't take in the new stuff. So always breathe out first, and breathe out through your mouth. So
I'll do it with you.
Yeah.
It's not natural, most people, they don't breathe out of their mouth.
No. And you can breathe out through your nose if you like, but for me, the breathing out through the mouth gives you more control.
Okay.
And also because I'm a vocal confidence specialist, it's also where you speak out of. So it's about that focus of being able to express yourself and being able to express yourself with clarity and being able to express your feelings without being in the feelings. So that's why I say breathe out through your mouth.
Yeah, no, and that's very interesting because when you're talking about the thought patterns that are with the breathing out, I find it very fascinating that most of us will or hold in, right? So it's actually having to relearn that is really powerful for your overall well-being.
Completely. Yeah. And there's there are whole schools of just breath work for this stuff.
So I would like to get back to the sound vibration, because I find that just absolutely fascinating. And I also find that, the emotions are so important to our well-being and who we are and how we live and how we show up in life. And I'm just interested, I'm wondering if you have, if you'd like to give a demonstration that the audience can interact with.
Definitely. So I'm going to ask you to do this with me because you're my audience right now.
Sounds good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 sounds, and these are the 3 core sounds of where we place both sound and emotion in our body. And there's a whole load of technical stuff which I won't go into, but these are 3 really simple sounds. So the first step is always to breathe. So we're going to breathe out together. So breathing out through the mouth.
I was already holding my breath because I'm like, because I'm like, you want me to what, sing on here?
Not sing. It's not, and that's really important actually. Thank you for saying that. Okay, this isn't singing. Sounding is not singing. There are no right or wrong notes. So it can sound as ugly as you like, but if it's your note, it's your note. And there's a guy who's posh, who's hard of hearing, who comes to my sound circles. He makes the weirdest noises, but that's his sound. It's his voice.
Okay, so forgive me if I make the weirdest sound. I'm already nervous, but let's do this.
Don't be. So breathe. Let's breathe out and breathe in. And a lovely deep note for you, haw. Lovely. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? So, and everyone, hopefully everyone is doing this as they watch as well. So we move up now, and that's your root. So the deep note is the root chakra. It's the base energy center. That relates to safety, security, stability, but also to letting go. Because sometimes our roots we hold on tightly to our roots and our past and our ancestry. Like, well, I'm the way I am because my mother was the way she was, because her father was the way he was. So and
that releases that.
So that haw is really good. It may bring stuff up. Health and safety warning. You may find that making these sounds might bring emotions up. They may bring physical things up. So as I said before, be gentle.
Well, and it's interesting because, in the last few years, I've given birth. And when I was working with the doula, so when you're in that final stages of crowning and getting ready to push, they teach you to go deep, which I never even thought that's connected to your root chakra, which makes so much sense, right? That's really fascinating. And so I know even in myself, when I was pushing, if I go too high, they'd be like, no, down. The baby's only going to come out if you're rooted. So I just wanted to add that in because I find that. Yeah.
I'm working with a doula at the moment to create some stuff for doulas. It's that lowing. You're creating the next line in your ancestry.
Very interesting.
So then we move to the heart. So you can place your hand just lightly on your chest. And this is because hopefully you'll start to feel the vibrations here. And the sound we use is ha. And it's a lovely middle note, whatever that might be for you. So you may play around on a couple of notes. So breathing out again. Breathing in through the nose. And and play around with the notes. So did you feel a little vibration there, Kamal?
Well, it feels good, to be honest. Like, it brought a smile to my face. I can only imagine what it sounds like, but it feels good.
Good. And that's what we're going for.
Yeah.
So our heart connection is obviously where we hold love and compassion, but not just for those who it's easy to love. This is where we come to compassion for those who we completely vehemently disagree with, whether we know them or not. For those people who we don't even know, and sometimes most challenging of all, where we hold love for self. So if you need to give yourself some self-love, some ha to your heart, and then if you want to open your heart, you can literally go ha. And if you're feeling frustrated or annoyed or anxious, or if you're feeling like really floaty and not quite with it, you can just bring yourself back. Even you don't have to ha, you can just hum. And if you hum up and down some notes, you'll find the note that really, really vibrates. And then you go, oh, okay, that's where my heart note is today. Because your notes will change depending on how tired you are, how hot or cold you are, what mood you're in, how your body is physically. And if you've just been to the gym, your muscles are tighter, so your sound will be different.
Oh, wow.
And a really great one for that is the third one that we're going to do, which is the crown chakra.
Right.
Which is your spiritual connection. Whatever form that takes for you, even if you're an atheist, it's your spiritual connection for me is that which is bigger than you, that which is more than you.
Mm-hmm.
So that connection to something more, something bigger. So whether that's your community, or if for you it's God or Allah or whatever one believes in, the great blah, as I can't remember who called it.
Power greater than yourself.
Yeah. And that sound is he. And that's quite, it's a high tone, but a high tone for you. Okay, so we're just going to do this last one. So breathe out. Breathe in through the nose. And you don't have to match my tone.
I'm
That's
like,
okay. We can just go here. We can go here.
Okay, let's try one more time.
So the higher vibrations bring you up. So if you're having a rubbish day, I nearly swore, and I know that Canadians and Americans are not so sweary as us Brits in general. So if you're having a really rubbish day,
yeah,
and you're in the depression and you're in your blah state, do some of those higher soundings, because it physically shifts your energy level and brings you to a higher vibration. So, and it takes you out of yourself as well.
Yeah.
And if in doubt, just put your favorite pop song on and sing and dance around the living room. Like, singing is a therapy for so many people for that reason, because it changes your vibration. It's why when you go to church, there are hymns.
Yeah.
It's why if you walk into a gospel church, the atmosphere is amazing, because they're all just like going for it, because it's sing the praises.
Yeah.
So that's why it works.
Well, this has been absolutely fascinating, and I feel so informed and motivated to use my voice and my sound and my breath more. And I just wanted to know, is there anything else that you feel that you'd like to share, anything that comes to mind or that's so important to all of this work that you do?
Yeah, it's being connected to your truth, and not the reactive truth, not the this is what was done to me and so therefore I hate them, because that's true. Like I spent a lot of time hating my dad, and it was true, I hated him. But what was really true under that was I didn't feel wanted by him. And what was true under that was I wanted to feel loved by him. So obviously, because we know, right, love and hate are a very similar energy. But work on whatever your truth is for that moment. If you're connected to your deeper truth for that moment and your higher purpose for that moment, then bring your voice into that space, and it has a completely different resonance. So when you're speaking about something that is important to you, give it time, give it breath, give it space, give yourself space. And, I know that that people who follow you, everyone's in recovery, or wherever you are in your journey, you're going to be at a different stage. So take time to breathe and allow, and give yourself that space to no matter whatever's going on around you. In a breath, we can reconnect to the fact that the whole planet is beneath you, supporting you. In a breath, you can reconnect to the fact that there is the collective energy of all that is above you, and that this moment is just this moment. So if you can come into that moment, into your breath, into yourself, into a hum, into your heart. So if you're in those moments of gunkiness or anxiety or anger or whatever it is, I invite you to just take a breath into sound. And the other thing to do is, sound is a really great way to let go of the stuff. If you're angry, if you are fed up, give it a good old rant. Not just go grah and let it out, because holding on to that vibration is just going to keep it in your body. So release it.
Well, I trust that everybody that is supposed to receive from you is going to, because I believe in what you do, and I feel it is so powerful, and it can just heal so many. And if anyone would like to connect with you, how can they do that?
The best way is through my website,
Okay.
which is yourwholevoice.com, and that's whole as in the whole world, or whole self, whole life. Or on most social media, it's Your Whole Voice. So if you want to join my Facebook group, that's facebook.com/groups/yourwholevoice, or follow my page. It's just facebook.com/yourwholevoice. It's very easy. I like to keep things simple.
So you heard it. If you'd like to follow, it'll be yourwholevoice.com.
Yeah.
And I'll also have the your links available to people under this video.